Hi everyone, I'm Grace with ZTV Live. We are here again today with ACT for Alexandria's Spring to Action 2021, and we are here with Tammy Mann of the Campagna Center. Hi Tammy, how are you?
Hi, Grace. Great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, and thank you for being here today. So we are going to just jump right in with some questions. The first question is, what challenges your nonprofit faced in 2020? We know 2020 was a roller coaster of a year for everybody. And I know that there are problems and challenges that are specific to nonprofits. So just walk us through your experience last year.
Certainly, Grace. Thank you for that question. Obviously, like everyone else, we were challenged by the desire to want to continue to sort of advance our mission, which is all about, fostering education experiences for children and helping to support their success in school from, kindergarten through high school based on the kinds of programs that we operate. And, given the challenges of trying to do that in a pandemic, like most other people, we had to really pivot quickly because we needed to find a way to stay connected to the families that we were no longer going to be able to see. But obviously, we're very committed to serving, especially in the early childhood space, where a significant number of families that we serve, fall between 100 and 200% of federal poverty. So, in addition to educating their children, we were concerned about, to the extent that there were going to be challenges around food and housing and utility and just all that we had to kind of wrap our minds around as we were confronted with the reality of an economy shutting down and everybody needing to stay at home as the country worked to try and get, the crisis under control. So that was a big piece of what we faced in 2020. How do we stay active and involved with the people that we're serving?
Yeah, absolutely. That is a major challenge that a lot of nonprofits have said they have had to navigate. So I want to know how Spring to Action last year helped you address some of those challenges.
So, one of the things that I felt our community was especially effective at doing was really putting in place a planning endeavor to ensure that we were all working together. And certainly, ACT played a critical role in doing that in partnership with our Department of Community and Human Services. And I felt like the structure really facilitated a way for us to be able to talk across organizations such that as we were working to meet the needs of families, we were able to leverage the resources that the collective nonprofit sector had to bring to bear in helping to support families through this crisis moment. So the coordinating effort was absolutely critical to our success. And then when resources came in, one of the things that I appreciated was that there was thought given to how to quickly deploy those resources. Again, ACT was critical in obviously putting together a proposal, a channel, a gateway for nonprofits to be able to access these funds and access them in a way that was quick, efficient, and allowed us to immediately deploy them right back into our work. I know our organization was the recipient of several grants that came through ACT, grants that allowed us to provide grocery gift cards to hundreds of families over the course of, from July to December, that were in need of accessing food support for their families. And so that was a grant we received. We also received support to really help stand up what is typically a before and after school program or Campagna Kids program to really be able to provide full day, 12-hour support to working families. A lot of people had to leave their homes. Everybody wasn't able to stay home during this time. And our ability to access funds that allowed us to make those services available in an affordable, accessible way to families was tremendous. We could not have delivered as we have delivered without those services and the grant funds that came through the Resilience Fund that ACT was responsible for managing. They were invaluable.
Yeah, that community support is so important for the success of not just nonprofits, but anybody and anyone doing anything pretty much. So, what do you want your community and your donors to know moving forward into 2021?
Well, obviously, we're not out of the pandemic. And certainly for this sector, fundraising is going to continue to be a very important endeavor that we have to wrap our minds around. And certainly there will be public support that, will be brought to bear. But obviously, we're also hoping that the community, given the critical role that they play, every single year, especially as we get ready for Spring to Action, it's a very tangible way that we can engage, people who really want to help, and being able to do that and being able to do so, right? It's the contribution of our time, our talent, and our treasure. And I think Spring to Action obviously provides a great way to bring, treasure forward, because obviously nonprofits are having to procure PPE. That will continue to be a need as we reopen, given the importance of maintaining safety protocols that we have in place. We have been open since July, so we have been actively serving families, children and families in person, since the governor released the stay at home order last year. And so we know that we're going to continue to need to tap into resources that help us address those needs, as well as continuing to support access to early childhood education, after supports that allow working families to continue to work while taking care of their children. All of those things will continue to be important as we recover from the pandemic.
Yes, absolutely. And so now moving into 2021, what are your goals for your nonprofit, for Spring to Action for the whole year?
Well, our goals are obviously to continue to expand our ability to serve more families in person. We're currently at about a third of our population that we typically serve in person. So we are gearing up to actually expand that as our schools have opened. The Campagna Center is pretty unique in that a lot of the services that we provide actually happen in partnership with space partners across the community, and schools are very, very important part of that. So we are gradually increasing the number of families we're serving in person during this spring and moving into the summer. We're also looking to launch a summer learning program for, again, 4-year-olds that are going to be transitioning into kindergarten. Very important opportunity to make sure that those kids can really be brought in and be supported as they prepare to transition, hopefully in the fall, into less virtual, more in-person learning opportunities, because we know for very young children, active learning and being in the environment is such a very important part of how we support their growth and development. So we are moving into the space of really beginning to think about how we can create more in-person experiences for those we're serving. We certainly are going to want to hold on to some of the capacity that we've built around virtual connectivity, because it really has been a game changer in how we've been able to engage and work in partnership with parents. But we do understand fundamentally that in-person learning experiences are critical for the social emotional development of young children, in addition to obviously supporting their academic learning. And so we're looking forward to moving into that direction. And obviously the support that will come through the tremendous generosity of our community as Spring to Action gets ready to launch is an important part of helping us to begin to make that transition.
Those are some awesome goals. They're some big goals, and I love to hear about them. I am excited to see people come together and help you guys fulfill them. This is our last question, and it is a repeat after me and fill in the blank. I spring to action because.
I spring to action because Spring to Action makes a difference in the lives of those we're trying to impact in our community.
That's beautiful, Tammy. Thank you so much for being here. This has been ZTV Live for Act for Alexandria's Spring to Action 2021 with the Campagna Center.
Thanks so much, Grace. I appreciate the opportunity.